axis of being the sun, around it go a lot of things which are called what? Planets. Now we live on a planet. This is a planet. This is the Earth, the planet that we live on. And we are not the nearest one to the sun. The nearest one is Mercury. Mercury is a very hot planet. It's so hot, if it's a fry and egg on the ground, it's no bother.
Off to see your old flame, are you? Off to get a scent of it. Can't wait to get on top of her.
It's a long, long time. It's imagination.
I never thought I knew about his hood all the long years. I never let him touch me. No. Not once. Not once. No. I never cared for
You're wearing my shirt.
It's the dream of all Blacks to play here at the National Stadium at the Arms Park. So let's take a look at how the World Cup holders will line up. That powerful and experienced pack, the giant Gary Wetton winning his 40th cap and his partner Pearce winning his 25th. Innes and Basham provide the counterpoint within the backs, both making their international debuts. Fox will provide the goal kicking, Gallagher the thrust and change of angle, and the team captain by the man who will now lead them into the haka, number 8, Wayne Shelford. the reaction of these men to that challenge that will prove the crucial thing. Phil Pugh and Gareth Llewellyn both playing at this level for the first time ever. As a counterpoint to them, the 22-year-old David Young remarkably plays for the 5th time against All Black opposition. Thorburn will provide the place kicking, Clement the direction, and Ringan Evans the deft touches. Having inspired Swansea to a spirited performance against the tourists, Robert Jones has now been handed the responsibility of leading the national side. The referee for the day, the Australian, Mr. Sandy McNeil.
And a very important aspect of the games that we've seen so far throughout Wales has been the kicking off of the Welsh team. Sometimes it hasn't gone 10 yards, sometimes it's gone straight into touch. Paul Thorburn has the task of putting it in front of his forwards and giving them the chance to get stuck into the All Blacks.
So we've caught a glimpse of both captains, Wayne Shelford, Robert Jones. What an atmosphere here as Paul Thorburn prepares with Mark Ring, just last minute preparations. Sandy McNeil whistles, Paul Thorburn reacts, starts this test match between Wales and the All Blacks. Bishop with his first touch, can't find the touchline. Emir is swamped by an All Black wave. The early drive from the All Blacks in the shape of Fitzpatrick and Lowe. Quickly in, and the warning to Mark Jones, just over vigorous. Fitzpatrick, the hooker, led the charge there, and receives a little bump for his efforts and inquires of the referee what he did about it. The referee has awarded a penalty, of course.
Interesting to see what Fox will do. Will he put the high up and under, and again put Wales under pressure?
He's had a little word with his forwards. They'll chase this. This will hang for as long as possible. Robert Jones plays together. Shelford is there, but Thorburn finally hacks it away. The All Black captain denied at the final dive, but this is All Black pressure. The noise here almost deafening. Watch those three quarters. So many options open to these. Fox, a final word to Bishop. He'll want it quickly. Whether Captain Shelford will agree is something else. Bishop, the game's first scrum. Coming in is Innes. Over the try line, and a try is awarded. What a remarkable entry into the international rugby for this young man, Craig Innes. 20 years of age, his first international, and a try in the first minute.
A dream start for New Zealand and Craig Innes. Scrum down either line, just watch the dummy run. There's Foxton off the dummy, short little pop. Clement and Jones tried to stop him, but the 20-year-old, very strong, the pack behind him, the referee on the spot, and he's awarded a try. From the other angle, comes on the burst. I thought first of all the referee was a little bit in the way, but he soon got out of the way. Jones and Clement and Gary Jones there try their best, but look at number 7, Mike Brewer, driving him over. There's another Shelford. The referee coming around to it. Let's have a very good look at it. He's on his back, but not quite clearly. Try.
Well, he must be pleased with life. This is Foxton, 28 points to his credit on tour. His first kick of the match. And strikes it absolutely true. And already then, in the game's opening 90 seconds, the All Blacks lead Wales by 6 points to 0. Well, That couldn't have been a worse opening for the Welshmen. So optimistic have been soundings all week.
And what a start for Robert Jones as captain. A few minutes gone on already, 6 points down to the world champions. He has really got to rally his troops now, not let their heads drop, and they've got to get back into this game and get some points.
Thorburn with the restart then. This time it's long. That's Fox. And his punting, same level of skill as his place kicking. Superb.
And I hate to be too critical, but the first kick-off I thought from Thorburn was a wee bit long. And there again, instead of putting it dead down Fox's throat, and look where he's back on the halfway line.
So this first line out will be interesting. The advantage is Wales, that's the All Black captain. Basham just slightly hesitant, ball knocked forward.
Noticeable there in that line out that Murray Pearce made no attempt to jump for the ball. He went straight across and got it well in. I wonder will the referee be strong enough to rule and straighten the line out.
Well, a look at the two front rows. It's Mike Griffiths on this side for Wales, Richard Lowe on the tight head for the All Blacks. That's number 3 in the black shirt. Let's watch 3/4. Interesting formation there. And again, the front rows, it's a testing time, of course. And that's the contest within the contest.
And you see the All Blacks are loath to go down until they're ready, and that's been an aspect of the play throughout the tour.
And Steve McDowell not interested really in binding on to David Young. Young will see that as an encouraging start. This is Kevin Phillips. Little dummy run from Robert Jones. The Welshmen on the retreat, but they've still retained possession and the advantage at the scrum. That's the young man, or not so young perhaps, but winning his first cap at least at 30 years of age. Phil Pugh. So the scrum again then, an interesting point of contact. This time it's static. The box kick is the answer from Jones. Emir is in pursuit. That's pressure on Gallagher. Bounces free. This is Mark Jones. And a flying header from Robert Jones. But that's better as far as the Welshmen are concerned. The support is absolutely deafening here as the crowd sense the first bit of Welsh pressure.
And if you look at the Welsh line-out, who's jumping in number 2? Mark Jones has come down from the back of the line-out to put pressure on the New Zealand front jumpers.
So it's Phil Davis at 1, Mark Jones at 2. That'll make it difficult for Fitzpatrick, yet Wetton reigns supreme. What timing. And Basham, the backer. Good play from the All Blacks. That understanding between Fitzpatrick and Wetton. Supreme there. Everything stacked against them, yet the catch was clean. This time it's Mark Jones's possession. And the penalty awarded to Wales as Robert Jones quickly signals to Paul Thorburn, and at the same time cools down Kevin Phillips, who would be very excited at the prospect of taking that and having a go at the All Blacks.
Yes, he does the same for this Kevin Phillips. Look, he wanted to run it, but there's the old head Robert Jones saying, hang on, I've got one of the world's best kickers, Paul Thorburn. Let's have a look at this. Great take by Mark Jones, two-handed, drives in there, driven back slightly by the All Blacks. Wales in looking for the ball. I think there's where the referee said that the All Blacks will go over the top, killing it.
What an early boost this would be. That the trauma of that opening minute and a half where the All Blacks charged upfield, scored a try, converted it, and were 6 points ahead. So Paul Thorburn with this chance to halve that margin. And the roar confirms the sight of that ball, dividing the uprights and bringing Wales its first points. As it's now Wales 3, New Zealand 6.
We tend to keep on about Grant Fox as a great kicker, but we in Wales also have a marvellous man kicking goals, Paul Thorburn.
So Thorburn gets over the 200-point mark for his country. He was 199 prior to that, 202 to his credit, and a great deal of satisfaction in that. It eases that little bit of pressure, and already the crowd responding to the Welsh challenge. Fox the restart. The control not quite there, and of course it's that sort of ball that the All Blacks love to have as the tester there again. What good catching from Thorburn, supreme support from David Evans. Well, they don't come together all that often, but you'd have thought that David Evans and Paul Thorburn had been doing that all their lives. The conversation between the All Black captain and the hooker, Shelford and Fitzpatrick. 7 at the back for the All Blacks is Brewer. It's won by Earl. On the peel is McDowell. Shakes off Jones's tackle. Still going strong. Good driving, tremendous driving by the All Black prop. This is Bashop. Fox, Schuster. Not a good pass. Here's a chance then to counter-attack. A hack through. Stanley's the man that retrieves and sets it up. Isolated though. Well, the crowd still roaring as Robert Jones just frustratingly shows the referee the ball.
Well, I think that's a bit harsh on Wales, because the ball was knocked down in midfield by the All Blacks. He looked to see if there was advantage. There was none gained, but yet he's given the put in to New Zealand.
And again, the All Black front row in no great hurry to make contact at the scrum. And again, the delaying tactics. Joe Stanley has already felt the pressures of some studs on that shirt, as Shelford to Bashop, and the kick directly out of play, and a late tackle, says the referee, on Bashop. Interesting that Phil Pugh on the blind side of that scrum.
Let's have a close look at it. There's Bashop getting the ball, and I think that Robert Jones went in, and he was very marginal if it was a penalty.
Phil Pugh quickly off that scrum. He had been just slightly exposed in the game against Neath. Bashop had created 2 early tries, but the Welsh back row aware to that, and of course the Welsh captain there as well. This man, who has a remarkable test match record of an average of 17.5, 302 points prior to this test match today, now up to 304. The supreme kicker in modern day international rugby, Grant Fox. Runs at this, strikes the post. That's an unkind bounce. Ring gets hold of it. Can he now set it back? That's the crucial element. Robert Jones gets it and gets rid of it. And again, for the second successive time, under intense pressure, the Welshmen have got together, collected their thoughts and their bodies, and relieved the pressure. Mike Griffiths just feeling a little bit of an injury there, but finally enters the line-out. The All Black restart then. Dowell ties it in. Gareth Llewellyn has come around and is finally pulled out by Brewer.
And that was very interesting. We've seen it happen also, that they've been taking men from the fringes of the rucks and maul, taking them out of the game. The referee saw Llewellyn taken out, and he would have none of it, and has penalised the All Blacks.
Gareth Llewellyn, who had probably the most outstanding game that we've seen from a Welsh individual all tour in that match at the Knoll. Recovers and sees Anthony Clement drive a penalty award upfield and encourage both the team and the home spectators. Again, we see the swapping at the front of the line-out. Phil Davis at one, with McDowell opposite him. Mark Jones against Wetton. Mike Griffiths then, and Llewellyn behind him. And Phil Davis does the necessary work as Robert Jones escapes the clutches of Fitzpatrick, puts his head down the little scrum half, and we're back to square one.
It's interesting to note that David Young, the Welsh prop, is marking Wayne Shelford in this lineup if they were to throw long.
Well, it's a test of the All Blacks' imagination here. They've got to vary their throws as Wetton cleanly gathers, and that ball is loose. Gary Jones was flying there. The ball not steadily caught or held as Fitzpatrick, in all sorts of trouble, does the retrieving work. Again, it's a tremendous roar, and again it's a penalty, but an indication of All Black discipline again. They were in all sorts of trouble, but yet they could regather, regroup and hold the ball and induce an offside decision. Grant Fox this time fails to find touch. Now then, Thorburn will put it back where it came from. And there are lots of people having one eye on the ball and one on the opposition. Fitzpatrick, none of it though, stands his ground. This man is immense.
Oh, what a big test for Graham Bashop. We saw him earlier on in the tour against Cardiff, under pressure, didn't play particularly well. Huge test for him out here, and he's struggling a wee bit at the moment.
So Wales doing well at the line-out and stifling All Black possession there as well. Davis gets fingers. Gary Jones collects. Now he needs the other seven around him. Delivered to Jones. Clements then will test Gallagher. Watch Stanley and Wright get behind Gallagher. The touch was from Evans. As well, the referee needs to get in there, and does indeed. As Phil Davis tells his forward players, cool down. We've got the penalty. We'll get the 3 points. Kevin Phillips thinks about it, 4 points even. But again, his captain is there and decides we'll kick it goal.
What a great kick that was by the outside half, Anthony Clement. It hung in the air. Gallagher's been a little bit unsettled. I've never seen him drop a ball on tour so far. He's dropped 2 this afternoon. Superb punting by the outside half, Clement.
Well, Gary Wetton was at the bottom of that ruck. He won't have enjoyed the experience as he makes his way back to the goalpost. Well, Paul Thorburn here can get Wales on level terms with the All Blacks. And that's how tense the situation is. Gets Wales level with the All Blacks. Six points to Thorburn, 6 points to Wales, 6 to New Zealand.
Coming back to the aspect of kicking out from set after penalties or tries, Fox has done it brilliantly on tour. Let's see if he can hang this ball as he did earlier on for his forwards to get under it.
Watch the tall men run in front of the shorter men. They're the targets. They'll tap it down if they can. This time, though, there's no chance. This is good ball. Jones will exploit it. The tester for Wright. Followed by Mike Hall. Gallagher in trouble. The Welsh on the rampage.
Robert Jones tormented the All Blacks as he did against England last season at Cardiff, as he did for the Lions down Australia. Hanging kicks into the box. Superb kicking by the scrum half.
Jones, the feed and the dummy run. The control from the other Jones mark. Now it's into midfield. This is David Evans. Little dummy. Bashop was there covering that ball. Well, that is tragic really, because first good possession for Wales, and there wasn't quite the inventiveness there and the sharpness there of thought indeed to exploit it. And again, it's that man Fox that eases that pressure off the All Blacks. Well, they say the atmosphere is worth so many points start here today. It's as intense as ever. And the Welsh team have certainly responded to that. This is Kevin Phillips. Earl driven back in that tackle by David Young. This is Bashop then to Fox, Schuster, Stanley on the straight ball. Brewer so quickly there to help him. Bashop again, this is Schuster. Gallagher into the line. Pass though in is not quite there.
Warning signs for Wales there. Joe Stanley towed down the middle, went through the tackle, got back up on his feet to create second phase ball. Such a dangerous man, Stanley.
The referee is whistling and calling for some attention. As Kevin Phillips was suffering from just a little knee injury in midfield. The problem, Phil, for those three quarters, the Welshmen are just shuffling across, and when someone comes straight, then it's difficult to tie that down.
Yes, all defences these days shuffle across the field, so one straight man coming in the middle makes it very difficult. Watch the little pass, there's the flick pass, and there's Stanley, ever so strong, breaks Evans' tackle, but the important thing is he got up and tried to stay on his feet and wait for support, and he came. Bashop uses the narrow side, as we've seen so often. Gallagher coming in, but good Welsh tackling, and there's where the ball went forward.
Kevin Phillips back in the action. Asked the referee a question. And Richard Lowe, well, the referee, well, this is interesting, and Lowe, it's quite obvious there, knew exactly what he was doing, just checked at the last second, and the referee awarding a penalty to the All Blacks. Well, the referee probably just slightly caught there. The scrum had started to form, and at the last moment, Lowe just pulled back, and there was no other motion for the Welshman but
just
to go
look,
forward.
he shot the front row, and I think see Lowe came up number 3, and he's penalised Wales for going down, charging the scrums. Robert Jones tells him what's happening.
And that's a conference between the props, David Young and Mike Griffiths. They won't have enjoyed that. Just underneath us here, Joe Stanley, just a bit out of sorts, receiving a little bit of treatment. But this is Grant Fox to restore a New Zealand lead. A chance to put the All Blacks 3 points ahead. Well, total stays on 2 for this match, failed with 2 penalties. The restart is crucial. The forwards just have to have a chance of getting to it. The front line is up to Llewellyn and Jones and Davis. It's well worked. Jones, a lovely little dummy. Support from Gary Jones. This is good Welsh pressure. Well, Welshman broke past that, and the All Blacks get the put in because they're going forward. The penalty of not taking the All Blacks out in front of the ball, they were allowed to stay there. Bashop will test the box. It's Arthur Emmer that guides that and catches it, shakes off a tackle. Endeavours to get it back in support quickly was Mark Ring, but the All Blacks get the advantage.
Danger signals for Wales. So often in this tour we've seen Wayne Chelford pick up at number 8 and use that narrow side with Bashop. Emma did well to take that ball going backwards, but a great position for New Zealand. Just watch
where Chelford is positioning himself there, between the flanker, hardly part of the scrum. Bashop on the run, the pass to Gallagher, and Arthur Emmer, Phil Pugh. They were the defensive wall there, and that's a pretty difficult wall to get through. The Welsh three-quarters right on the try line. Kevin Phillips has to get this spot on. It's taken though by Shelford. The All Blacks get information to drive. Lowe is there. Fitzpatrick enters. That's straight ahead. It's a try for Lowe. No, says the referee. Well, the prop forward who scored the tour's first try here at the Arms Park will complain over that. Shakes his head.
I think they'll feel a little hard done by the All Blacks. Look, it wasn't a great throw by Welsh throw by Phillips, superbly taken by Shelford. And as we see the rolling all this, look very carefully. Number 3, he's working very hard, just got up your shot a second, driving towards the Welsh line. Here they're going inch by inch. Just look at Lowe, comes over. I thought he got the try.
So relief for Wales there, as you see again. Schuster, Fox and Stanley in conversation in midfield. Doubtful that they'll receive possession though from this position. Shelford on the narrow side, and again this time the All Blacks are punished. It's a free kick against them. Anthony Clement then relieves the pressure. Referee waiting towards the back there on that liner just to make sure that there's nothing much happening in that area. The All Blacks throw in. Pearce will jump in the middle, Shelford and Earl at the back. Well, it was knocked forward, says the referee. 6 points all. And really, it's been tremendous pressure rugby. The feeling here is as intense as it could ever be. And that Swansea half-back combination as Mark Ring comes across just to add a little word of comfort as well. Good from the experienced centre just to help Clement along. And Wales just losing or winning 3 against New Zealand 6 at the line-out. Basham, though, not happy with that delivery. The last thing a scrum half wants, and yet despite getting that ball on the retreat, they still go forward and they'll still keep the putting at the scrum.
That was good play by Basham, because it was terrible ball tapped down to him. He's only a small man, but he showed tremendous strength to stay upright and wait for his forwards to come around and drive him forward.
The Welsh front row. Shelford again positions himself to the side of that scrum. This time he'll go left though. A long pass from Fox to Stanley. Again, it's the shuffle that's beaten again, because people running across field, and just this little check inside means that it's very difficult to regroup. In this situation, it may well be better for the Welshman to take man for man in midfield. Take the man running straight at you.
But on this other side, just out your shot, Gallagher's in the picture. He's scored a few tries from that position on tour.
Gary Jones will have to be alert to that, although David Young and Kevin Phillips have taken that against the head. Mark Jones tries to drive forward, sent back by a couple of All Blacks, and really again, because they're there in numbers, they always have the advantage, they always go forward, and the advantage is always theirs.
Quite rightly, a great take against the head by Wales, where Mark Jones picked up. He was isolated, driven back by 3 All Blacks.
And Gallagher and Stanley poised on this side of the scrum. To the other side though, the delicate little chip from Fox. That's into space, and just out of reach of both Mike Hall and Paul Corbin.
And really the All Blacks are putting Wales under tremendous pressure. You feel they've got to crack something. Although they're tackling very well, it's pressure after pressure, and again you can see a few metres from their line.
There you see the young Basher playing his first international match. It's getting so noisy here. It's very difficult for the players to hear the instructions at the line out. as Phil Davis sets off on a run, supported by Mark Jones, sets it back, but finally out of space. Phil Davis, captain Llanelli last Saturday, leads the forwards here today. Fitzpatrick, his 22nd international. Tremendous experience. Pearce, but again Gary Jones through, that is perfectly laid back. Now Clements needs to further drive that lesson home.
I watched Tony Clement train for Wales on Thursday. He was kicking the ball 16-17 metres. I don't think I've ever seen an outside half kick the ball so long and hard.
Notice again, number 8, Mark Jones, going down to the front, Phil Pugh and David Young playing musical chairs at the back as well. 3 and 6. But beautifully won again. The response from Fox is the high tester. Thorburn again, catches, stays on his feet, needs to be supported though, as he's driven back. Well, the touch judge on the